Representation of angles. An angle is formed by two rays that share a common endpoint called vertex. Angles are usually drawn using rays with the vertex at the endpoint where the rays met. Vertical angles theorem. Statement: when two lines intersect, the opposite or vertical angles are congruent. Explanation: if two lines intersect at a point, the angles opposite each other are equal. For example, if two lines intersect to form angle A, angle B, angle C, and angle D, then angle A is congruent to angle C, and angle B is congruent to angle D. Second, linear pair theorem or the linear pair postulate. Statement: if two angles form a linear pair, then they are supplementary. Their sum is 180 degrees. Explanation: a linear pair of angles is formed when, when two adjacent angles have their non-common sides forming a straight line. For example, if angle A and angle B form a linear pair, then angle A plus angle B is 180 degrees. The fourth, alternate interior angles theorem. Statement: if two parallel lines are cut by a transversal, then the alternate interior angles are congruent. Explanation: the alternate interior angles are the pair of angles that lie on opposite sides of the transversal and inside of the two lines, where when the lines are parallel, these angles are equal in measure. Fifth, alternate exterior angles theorem. If two parallel lines are cut by a transversal, then the alternate exterior angles are congruent. Explanation: alternate exterior angles lie on the opposite sides of the transversal and outside of two parallel lines. These angles are equal when the lines are parallel. Sixth, consecutive interior angles theorem. Statement: if two parallel lines are cut by a transversal, then the consecutive interior angles are supplementary. Explanation: consecutive interior angles, sometimes called same-side interior angles, are on the same side of the transversal and inside of two parallel lines. These angles adds up to 180 degrees when the lines are parallel. The seventh, angle addition postulate. Statement: if a point lies in the interior of an angle, then the sum of two smaller angles formed is equal to the measure of the larger angle. Explanation: a point D lies in the interior of angle ABC, then angle EBD plus angle DBC is equal to angle ABC. This postulate is used when dividing an angle into smaller parts. The eighth, complementary angle theorem. Statement: if two angles are, are complementary, their measures adds up to 90 degrees. Explanation: complementary angles are pairs of angles whose sum is 90 degrees. For example, if angle A and angle B are complementary, then angle E plus angle B is 90 degrees. Ninth, supplementary angle theorem. Statement: if two angles are supplementary, their measure adds up to 180. Explanation: supplementary angles are pairs of angles whose sum is 180 degrees. For example, if angle A and angle B are supplementary, then angle A plus angle B is 180 degrees. Tenth, Perpendicular lines theorem. Statement. If two lines are perpendicular, they form four right angles. Explanation. When two lines intersect at 90 degrees angle, they form four right angles. This is a fundamental property of perpendicular lines. The key concepts. First, transversal. By definition, a transversal is a line that intersects two or more lines at distinct points. For example, if line A and B are parallel and line C cross both lines, then C is the transversal. Second, type of angles formed by a transversal. A. Corresponding angles. B. Alternate exterior angles. C. Alternate exterior angles. D. Consecutive interior angles. Third, vertical angles. By definition, when two lines intersect, they form two pairs of opposite vertical angles. Fourth, complementary and supplementary angles. Complementary angles by definitions are two angles whose measures adds up to 90 degrees. Supplementary angles by definition, two angles whose measures adds up to 180 degrees. Fifth, solving for unknown angles. The transcripts provide several examples of solving for unknown angles using properties of these angles. Here's a general approach. A. Identify the relationship. Determine whether angles are vertical corresponding, alternate interior, alternate exterior, or consecutive angles. B. Set up equations. Use the properties congruent or supplementary or complementary to create equations. C. Solve for the variable. Use algebraic methods to find the unknown value. And D. Find the angle's measure. Substitute the found value back into the expressions to get the measure of the angle.